Oh, I think I can. Let's see.
What's the resolution look like on that anyway?
It's beautiful. See that?
240p.
It's the best.
Daniel, don't get me. Get that.
Yeah. You got a little bit. Just don't show your underbite.
Okay, Daniel. Don't point the camera at Abigail when she's picking.
Should I actually? Can I zoom in? All right. I think you're good.
It's just not polite.
What was that? Double standard. All right, are we good now? It's gonna be a quick one.
It's always just like that.
I don't know, my family's very close. Are we gonna do the influence more people?
My grandparents, and my great grandparents, like, we're all, I think it was family movie nights in our.
I have one, but it's gonna be just inventory. Okay. Somebody is working on it. I'm not sure. You guys know about it.
Although, I would say, we have two people and almost four.
Yeah.
Ready?
We have like four.
Yes.
Yeah, we have four. We just start talking about it. It's like, okay, commissioner.
All right, I call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. Secretary David, will you please take the roll?
Senator Akmal?
Here.
Senator Anderson?
Here.
Senator Brennan?
Excused.
Senator Borgasani?
Here.
Senator Jernell?
Here.
Senator Flanagan?
Here.
Senator Fulton?
Here.
Senator Gluckert?
Here.
Senator Hahn?
Here.
Senator Hurley?
Here.
Senator Jimmy?
Unexcused.
Senator Johnston?
Here.
Senator Kalanda?
Here.
Senator Kiefer?
Here.
Senator Nelson?
Here.
Senator Pfeiffer?
Here.
Senator Powell?
Here.
Senator Ream?
Here.
Senator Tarallo?
Here.
Senator Thompson?
Here.
Senator Wilmes?
Here.
Business Manager Parsons?
Aye, Captain.
Vice President Hanley?
Here.
President Belcher?
Here.
Cool. We'll now go into the minutes of the preceding meeting. Are there any corrections that anyone would like to make at this time? Any discussion on minutes of the preceding meeting? All right. Seeing none, I will now entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the October 2nd. Moved by Senator Tarallo, seconded by Senator Fulton.
Yes.
Unanimous consent has been called. Is there any discussion or objection? Discussion or objection? Seeing none, the minutes have been approved. We will now move into public comment. Just a reminder, senators, please no passing notes or eating during this time. Only drinking water is allowed. Is there any public comment?
Hi, I'm Deanna Carter. I'm from the office of the and I'm the secretary.
And my name is Taylor Curry, and I'm the vice president
And I'm Rachel Gephardt, and I'm the communications officer of the agency.
I wanted to spread the word of an upcoming event that we have. It's called Sugar-Free Smoothie, where we will go around the neighborhood collecting different forms of canned goods, so for them.
So that will take place on October 31st, meeting at 4:30 in the parking lot behind the Lonesome Center. So we just kind of wanted to let you guys all know about that, and if you or anyone else is interested, you can sign up for it. Yeah, so we have posters going up for the next week around campus, and we'll have info on there, and then also on Facebook, we actually run today. We have information to sign up, so we would love also through your various social channels, you can
And if you could all please sign in so that we have your contact info, that'd be great. Would you be able to take questions?
Yeah.
Okay, Senator Flanagan.
Hi, y'all. Thanks so much for coming. I just wanted to ask if there was anything besides outreach that ASUM can be doing to help support this event. I think outreach is probably the biggest part that we need. We have a lot of organizational influence within our own communities. I think kind of taking care of the behind the scenes work is just spreading
Any more questions? Senator Terrell.
Hi, thank you all for coming. It sounds like a great organization. Sounds like it's gonna be a lot of fun. With the consent of the president and vice president, would you be open to having members of the Senate volunteer their time to help you guys out in any way? On the night of course.
And senators are more than encouraged to volunteer and participate in events. So
There you go.
good time for that. So, all right, any more questions? All right, thank you very much for coming. Is there any more public comment? And if when you're coming up for public comment, if you could please sign in, that would be good as well. Whatever you prefer.
Okay, hello. This week has been super stressful for us with the SU. Last week on Friday, we found out that the SU was started the one that has locked up about like African American one stuff like that. Was going to be taken away from us, and we were going to get switched to outside of the register. It was really hard for us to hear about that. That really was very important to us. It holds a lot of people that we look up to in our education, and it's a place, it's kind of like a safe space for us, where we feel a lot better. I feel like honestly for me, at least we feel like we want to get like a higher education. It does keep me out and it makes me feel more welcome. The first time that I went into that room is actually for my Bible practice because I'm Catholic. But I went in there and there were a bunch of pictures of African American love. There was some other stuff in there. There's a bunch of books right there that you have by a lot of authors, actually listed in there and stuff like that. And when I walked in there, it was one of the first times that I ever felt very welcome here at UNM. It is mostly white, and while I respect you all, it is more comfortable for us to be with people that are part of our culture, that understand our culture, understand where we're coming from, and understand our experiences and stuff like that. And that's why that means so much to us. And like I said, it was being taken away from us. We had decided to put marketing in there and put us into the team. Luckily, we have a staff meeting for a completely different reason, so we were told on that day. So we were able to fight it and put it Am I talking loud enough this time?
Just a little bit louder.
I'm sick this time. I'm sick. Okay. So basically, we had a meeting last week, and it was about a completely different topic, but we were able to get into that. We were told about the room, and we were able to get it to be postponed because they were going to start painting it this way. And we finally were able to help them find another room, which was 216, where they're going to put marketing. And although this has been solved, we did want to bring it up because we're very disappointed during our university that they would do something like that. It might just be a room for somebody, it might just be a fee for art or whatever, but it really isn't to us. And we would like to have ASUM and the school starting to back up us students, especially the color minorities and stuff, because we do have
Good.
Great, thank you. when I did come out as follows because there's something, some form of inequality or injustice going on where there's different people with my African American diaspora, is a diaspora. And today we have a very productive meeting with Montreal and a lot of the other administrations here as you can see. And the main thing that I want to convey to the Senate is that we weren't talked to about the change. We weren't going to sit with no consideration whatsoever. And that is what we are looking for when our spaces are touched. Thank you so much. When our spaces are being looked at for some form of change, that we should have a say in that. Andrea was really, really remorseful. She apologized, and just like she said, going forward, we're going to work towards inclusive more so than what was done. I called out white privilege in this situation. And one of the things that I've noticed too, being used a lot in the environment is the race card. You're using the race card, you're using the race card, your race card. But if your white privilege isn't being used, then the race card doesn't need it. Because your white privilege is yours. And I pray that makes sense to you. So let's stop playing home. Let's stop playing games. Because we're all human beings. We are a diverse community here at the University of Montana. And right now, I am a alum. I graduated in May. And I want to see our community thrive. It's time for us to thrive, not just thrive. Thank you.
Sorry. I have written something, but I wrote something that if you know, was something that I wanted to be brought up to the meeting that we have with the UC manager of the UC, whatever they're called. It's very disrespectful for the Black voices out of conversation. It is evident that this university is no longer making an effort to improve students of color to higher education. I'm disappointed but not surprised the University of Montana for 2019 is still being formed these steps. We were told that the whole UC is supposed to be a place of diversity. The only diversity I see is Pacific Islanders office that is on the wall of African American club. Ask questions and do better because it's set aside.
I have a long name, sorry. Aloha mai kako. Some of you know who I am, and some of you are meeting me for the first time. My name is Ka'au Moana Ahina, and I stand representing the University of Montana Pacific Islanders Club as their president. I have been in this room many times with all of you, and I'm here actually to stand in solidarity with the president of BSU, who is here tonight. Sitting here is Natasha. The University of Montana Pacific Islanders Club is about 85 to 90 members strong as of this semester. And the history behind the Pacific Islanders Club is to find the identity that is similar to who we are. When I founded this club at the university, I was looking for people just like me. But what I found was the Black Student Union. And I became a member of the Black Student Union because I felt that it was a place that I belonged as a person of color. Tonight, I come in front of all of you in support and standing in solidarity with the Black Student Union. As you heard, Room 207 in the Branch Center, which is the Diversity Center here in the UC, is definitely what it's supposed to be, the Diversity Center. It is dedicated and named after Mrs. Branch, who that whole place is dedicated to, of African American woman. The decision by the administration of this building, the University Center, had not communicated with the president of BSU to remove and to
to dismiss the culture of African Americans here on this campus. This is the only place that is represented with pictures, with dialogue, with colors, representing the flag of the African American people. And so I come today to let you folks know that you folks need to be aware that when we celebrate and we find inclusivity in everything that you decide to do here on this campus for us as students, is that we recognize that these colored people here on this campus cannot be erased, cannot disappear. The impact that this was on the Black Student Union, as well as all cultural people in this area, including the Pacific Islanders Club, which is just a door away, we felt that we were replaceable this past weekend. When there's no communication of whether we're going to still be in that same areas that we are, and that we would just be pushed out and moved to the whatever room in this center, the university center, we felt that at any time, if there's need for a space or for a room that the university center needed, that they would push each one of us out. And we are here publicly to let you know that we are not going anywhere. We are just like you. And that we support the ASUM, the University of Montana Pacific Islanders Club, support culture, we support diversity, we support the celebration of our foods and our ethnicity and our dance and our music. And we want you folks to know that we're not going nowhere. And that we also want the University Center Administrative Department to also recognize that communication is really important, and that's why you folks are here, is that you communicate with each other so that you can make this campus better for us. And so we ask in that same return with our leaders, our administrators here on this campus to make it better and make it inclusive for all of us, and each and every one of us students. And so we thank you for listening to the PSU students, University of Montana Pacific Islanders Club, and also allowing us to represent people of color. And that's why we came here, just to tell you our story. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I do have two questions for you. So Senator Johnston.
Sorry, I'm reading this off. It's for all.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Thank you all for being leaders on this campus. It really does. And thank you again for standing up to the administration. I know it's it really is amazing that you want to ensure a greater extent also the administration have really a lot. And this is, I had no idea about this and really like about the partnership. I'd also like to say thanks Senator Now, especially, it was a pleasure, it was a true pleasure serving with you. I guess my question is.
Would you like a follow-up, Senator Johnson?
Do any of you have any ideas on how ASUM can be more supportive in general? If that means administration as just another student, as a vendor, and something else. Is there something that I can do specifically to help?
I feel like last year during the election, a lot of the talk was the fact that there's not a lot of diversity with majors on ASUM. But I feel like I would like to see more diversity in people. I also would like to, I'd like to see ASUM propose a resolution where they support the BSU, support also backing up students of color, because I feel like a lot of times I don't know if there's no place for them on campus, but we would like to accept within each other.
I would love to see more cultural exchange. It's not just for us people of color, also for Native American people, and also for all of the diversity that we have on campus. That we have African people here, Black people here. We have just a spectrum of diversity, and cultural sensitivity is needed, especially when you have a culture that has been trained with Africa, and we have to teach you in that. And cultural sensitivity will teach you. It will teach a connectedness that is lacking in a lot of areas. That's what I would love to see.
to just kind of go off what Curly has mentioned about the cultural sensitivity training, it's really important, I feel, that the consideration for even for people of color, for indigenous people, I should say indigenous people, as Indigenous Day is coming up on Monday, to have some type of advisory liaison, I feel, that would help with those type of cultural sensitivities. For instance, as maybe people are coming from other states, bigger states, coming into predominantly a white area, where sometimes the intimidation of this institution kind of pushes back a little bit on students that would be a little shy at one point to see what kind of advisory they can get, whether it's, you know, cultural things or whether it's a perspective of how these people were in their hometowns to how they can adjust to the elements of the culture that is here on this campus. And I feel that it's very important being open with the Pacific Islanders Club and working with BSU is having those type of maybe advisory and hopefully suggestions to the provost that they can kind of do their research and advancement for some type of liaison that we can refer students to that are of culture of color and be able to have a little bit more assistance, as sometimes we feel intimidated when it comes to these areas. But we want to retain these students. We want them to stay here and have opportunity to get education so that they can carry those memories on wherever they go, and especially giving back to their communities once they're here. So I feel that a liaison, a representative, an advisory center, a person that could actually represent people of color or indigenous people with any type of assistance besides just going to their professors or specific for their majors, that it could help them kind of maybe find ideas of what they want to be actually, as sometimes we all change our minds in our time being in school. So that would really help students that will just kind of give that extra push and assistance. We're not asking for much, but I think those things to start off with could really, really help retain students here on this campus. You made it. We just have one more person that would like to share, another alum for BSU.
So I'm sure that is to discuss actually why we met earlier, individuals that we did. And I just wrote down a few things because I want to make sure that our stance and our position on everything that happened was clearly stated. And so first of all, I just want to say that, 207 where we meet for the BSU is not a thing room to us. Our culture and presence is not a thing. It's a room dedicated to honoring the Black students before us. We want to have space and presence on this campus when both the university and the students told us that we were not welcome. One of these individuals was devoted much of their time in taking care of Black students on campus and resulting in major retention, and that was Murray Pierce. The honoring of Ulysses Doss and the creation of the Black Student Studies and Black Student Union on this very campus. The BSU president holds a lot of power when it comes to recruitment and retention of students. Because when African American students call this university wanting to know what the culture is like, they reach out to BSU. They want to know what kind of space it is. And if there's a safe space for us. So to not be included in the conversation initially, and especially to almost be forced out of a space that is named after an African American woman, was just incredibly disrespectful. We spoke about intent versus effect. While the intent may not have been how it was received, the effect was very real. The effect of us feeling afraid, the effect of us feeling displaced, the effect of us feeling that we could just be easily thrown away without even being invited to the table to have a conversation. And when you're dealing with an organization that represents Black students, to not have a person of color presence at that table during that discussion felt so dishonoring. So that is why we make the steps in the today.
open to answer questions. Next on my speakers is Senator Flanagan.
Hi, I don't necessarily have a question as much as a statement. I wanted to formally state my own personal support for the ASU. The mistreatment on the administration's part for in this situation of the branch center, the diversity center, and BSU was a serious mistreatment. It was inconsiderate, it was unprofessional, and I think that a lot of times communication and culture are very underestimated in our society. And I think that's a huge mistake to make. And I don't think that lack of knowledge on the situation on the administration's part excuses this mistake either. I don't. And as a result, I would be happy to offer up my own personal time and help writing a resolution, whether it be looking for new solutions in different ways, whatever I can do, I would like to help.
Senator Jamal.
My grandson is freshman year. My sister's probably 31 and lots of welcoming. And I'm very happy that the conversation is something I can grow that room once so much simple. So just I guess in the future I'm going to be more courteous and looking into that stuff and try to be more sensitive about it because I had no idea of looking at those issues and a lot of things. But yeah, it's really
Yeah, thanks everybody so much for coming out. Don't worry, I'll make this one quick. I just wanted to say that whoever starts making that resolution, whether it's one of you who spoke today or somebody on Senate, please reach out to me. I'm very, very interested in not necessarily even sponsoring this resolution, but also authoring it and helping to craft a good resolution that not only shows us our support for BSU in this moment now, but also into the future and can help with future situations if the administration makes another ridiculous mistake like this.
And Senator Kalande. Questions? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
One more thing, if you folks have a chance to come to the Grant Center and visit 207 and come in on the walls, there's the colors of the flag. There's plaques on there that speak about what the colors represent. I encourage all of you to come in and read about it. But when you do come in, I do want you folks to enter the door and turn to the right. You take notice of the picture on the wall. Our dear friend is hanging on the wall. Last year, the vice president of BSU, he committed suicide, and we put him on there to remind us that our identity is important. And he committed suicide because he felt that he didn't know his identity and that BSU was a place that he could come to. And so that is a reminder how important this room is to all of us. I encourage you to just come in and just take a look. This room is open for all meeting groups. In fact, we have a lot of faith groups that come in and reserve that room majority of the time. So it's just not a meeting space for BSU, but it's also for everybody that would like to have a private room or a conference room to be at. Or a gaming room, now that they have their own space, but they used to be in there and hang out and game in there. But I encourage every one of you to come in and take a look at it and see why it means so much to all of us.
Thank you so much for coming in. Do I have any more public comment? Oh, you want to say one more thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
You're invited to, but tomorrow, the Latino Student Union is having their very first meeting in the branch center. We'll have
I'll be there, you know, I'll be smiling. Christine's making really good food right now for y'all. I don't know my cook, so I can't help her to like keep here, you know? But yeah, so you guys are invited. I hope to see you guys there. Thank you guys. Cool to see you.
Thank you very much, Bob. All right, is there any more public comment? Last call for public comment. So closes public comment.
So begins the president's report. First on the agenda tonight, we have a special guest, Dina Mansour. Please correct me if I pronounce that wrong. The executive director of the Mansfield Center.
Well, thank you. I want to tell you how much I appreciate being invited to speak or accepting my request to speak. So I come to you as an alumna. I graduated with my master's in public administration. I have been at the Mansfield Center for about 10 years, and I've been serving as the interim executive director since last December. But unfortunately, the director of the Mansfield Center has never come before this body, and it's high time that we do, because we have really reframed the work of the Mansfield Center in the last year to make it a very student-centered approach. So in 2015, I was a leadership fellow for President Clinton. And I remember sitting at a table with Cody Meichner, who was the head of ASUM, and he said to the cabinet, "What have you done for a student today?" And everybody had to go around the room and said what they did for students that day, and that's always stuck with me, because that's why we are here, and that's why the Mansfield Center is here. Every day we want to be here. So I wanted to come to you and tell you a little bit about what we do at the Mansfield Center to support you all and to support the students at the University of Montana. So I circulated 2 documents. One is a 2-sided flyer that sort of summarizes our main activities for students. And one is specifically talking about an opportunity that we're advertising. So the Mansfield Center was founded in 1983 to honor Mike Mansfield, who is a son of Montana. He worked in the mines. He came here to the University of Montana to study, and he was a professor of Far East Asia and Latin American studies. But he went on to be our nation's longest serving Senate Majority Leader and our nation's longest serving ambassador. So he's a great inspiration. We were founded in 1983. Essentially to foster globally minded leaders of integrity. So to be here before you, the leaders of the University of Montana, I want to ask you how we can best serve the student body population. And one way we want to learn how to do that better is that we founded something called the Mansfield Student Advisory Council. So we're paying 4 students $500 stipends, scholarships that will be applied to the spring 2020 tuition bill. And we're asking for about 40 hours of your time over the course of the academic year so we can find out what's important to you. What programs, what scholarships, what study abroad opportunities, and also the best way to communicate. Like I graduated in 1998 and communication strategies have changed a lot since then. So we really want to hear from all of you. And that's our goal. I mean, we try to invest money in international education and ethics programming. So we think that supports majors across campus. We support people in music and in the sciences and in journalism. In fact, this year we're buying a quarter-page ad in the Titan every week as a way to support journalism, but as a way to reach out to students. So I just wanted to be here, introduce myself, tell you that I was here to learn from you and to support you and to get any feedback you might have. And also to ask you to spread the word on these opportunities so we can better support students.
Thank you. And if you don't mind, I do have one senator that has a question for you.
Okay.
Senator Glucker.
Hi, thanks for coming. This looks like a really great opportunity. I guess I was just wondering, when I'm looking at the minimum of 20 volunteer hours per semester, what does that kind of look like? Like, is that, I know like a lot of students are busy, is that like during the day, or you like people meeting like at night, on the weekend? Like,
Yeah, so does it say minimum?
20 hours per semester.
Okay. So it should be maximum. That's wrong. So it's a maximum 20 hours a semester. And what it looks like is that we try to gather the group of 4 students together maybe 2 or 3 times a semester for a meeting of maybe 1 hour. And we really ask the students to figure out what their strategy is for the semester. We have a commitment to hiring students. We just hired 3 graduates in May. And Kayla Sheridan is a marketing student, she was a marketing student. She graduated in May, and she'll sort of coordinate the student advisory council. So it's, last spring we started this. It was sort of a test run. And the students spent their 20 hours brainstorming on strategies. They organized a couple of parties, and they would work the parties, like for Mike Mansfield's birthday. They suggested you should bring in cupcakes, and you should have a trivia game, and you should do these things to invite students into the Mansfield Center. Any of you know where the Mansfield Center is? So some of you, it is on the 4th level of the Mansfield Library, and we have this dark foreboding oak door. And once we stood in the lobby of the Mansfield Library, and we said, do you know what is behind that door? And people had no idea. And people are like, it's the portal to Narnia. So we are actually going to swap out the heavy oak door with the glass door. We took some big colorful photos about the work that we do there. And we had people in the lobby at Mike Mansfield's birthday from the advisory council saying, come upstairs, have cupcakes, play a game, win prizes. So for that 20 hours a semester, recognizing people are really busy, we mostly ask that you work on your own to come up with strategies that we engage with students. So to come in for meetings once, twice, 3 times, to actually come up with a report and a series of recommendations that we can follow. And we really hope that this will be an annual council with new students every year. So if you look at maybe an 8-month calendar, 2 to 3 hours a month, which I hope is not too onerous. Great question.
Senator
And thanks for putting out the typo.
Senator Akmal.
Cool, yeah, I was looking on your nice colorfully printed flyers. By the way, great paper on both of these. This is so nice. I feel so fancy. But I see under your scholarships have the Mansfield Center offers scholarships of up to $500 to help you pursue your dream academic program or internship overseas. Could you just go into a little bit more depth of how those work? Is that similar to like the GLI scholarships, or is it kind of its own separate thing?
So it's totally different from the GLI scholarships, which is an amazing program. I teach a class for GLI on public diplomacy, and I know that offers like a significant chunk of $5,000 a year for those students. So we have seen a lot of students over the years who want to do a faculty-led study abroad program. They've identified their own opportunity to go overseas, and maybe they just need a little extra money to help them buy an airplane ticket or, cover their lodging. And so we want to support students with that. So it's something that we're trying to flesh out really with the help of this advisory council. How do we structure this? Like right now it's very loose, and if a student walks in the door and has a good proposal, we'll give them that funding. But we would like to be able to advertise it a little bit more and to have it up on websites so people know about this and people can send students our way.
Senator Johnston.
Thank you so much for coming out tonight and presenting this. I just got an email from Vice President Andy and I was super interested. I also just wanted to personally thank you, Mansfield Center. I went on 2 Mansfield sponsored trips when I was in high school, and they both greatly impacted my life and my personal growth. I mean, I experienced things that, like, as a 14-year-old from Montana, I don't think I would ever saw in my entire life. And it has had such a positive impact on my life, and the academics that I wanted to pursue, I think was a good.
Well, that's a great story, and that's what we want lots of students to say. I mean, we are here to change lives. Mike Mansfield had a commitment to Montana youth. And, you have lots of opportunities at the University of Montana, and we want to be one of those go-to opportunities.
Senator Brunel.
For the scholarships, $500 scholarships, I was wondering if those would you like to also be on track? Because I know that they get $5,000 for that.
So we're happy to supplement that. So if a GLI student identifies like a $6,000 or $7,000 opportunity and the GLI funding is not enough to cover it, we will supplement that.
Yes.
Oh, do you? It's funny because we were actually just talking about security issues and active shooters, and they're like, that glass doors may be not a good idea for that, but we really need to be open and accessible and to see what we're doing in there. So, thank you. And this is what we really like from the advisory council, to get ideas like this, things that are just sort of no-brainer stuff that we don't think of.
Great. Well, I don't have anyone else on my speakers list. Does anyone have any more questions or comments?
Actually,
Senator Wilmes?
I do have one, but it's not directly related to this. When you're talking about the doors, what exactly is going to happen to those things? Because those are some really big, old, and doors.
It's a great question because
Yeah.
we are all about environmental sustainability. A lot of our programs bring international visitors here on internet on education and environment programs. We do a climate change studies program in Vietnam. We're actually expanding our suite and adding 3 offices. So we're going to use it for a different office internally. So, great question. I also want to say that I'm on the international committee, and when we had our meeting last week, this group is specifically referenced as running such a professional meeting that we could learn from you. And I've been really impressed.
I think that's everyone on my speakers list. Thank you so much for coming.
Okay, thank you. Some of you apply to our council.
All right. We are now going to take a 10-minute break. Oh. Just turn on
Yeah,
the
I have
break.
pizza for everybody, so there's some back there if you want it. I'm not sure actually. I'll get you in my report.
Just out of the goodness of your heart.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Because
What
I'm
heart?
here.
No, it wasn't going to dumpster dive. Damn door.
Okay.
I legit thought they were gonna like toss it out or something. It's like those things are like probably a $30,000 set of doors. You should probably do something with them. Yeah, let me just put them on the back of my bike. I'll drag them back to the apartment so I can put them on Craigslist.
Yeah, I think between that I'm trying to take it. Yeah.
So nobody wants to tell me your door is back by right?
I knew you asked that question.
No, it was not actually.
So, next week is gonna have to be your last because I'm not gonna be from any Wednesday, right? So Monday, Wednesdays. I don't have to take it, but I have a like list for the freshman things drawn up. There were a lot of complications that came up with it because it's not an elected seat because they can't because freshmen can't run because they don't go here. But I think I figured out a way to do it, so I got to like for 2 different articles. I started in. I'm like, oh.
Just push me on the way.
It's a whole thing. So I think I've got it, so I'm gonna bring that next week. Ready to go. And then I'll go. Maybe for onesie, which would be like really weird, so I'm gonna, what I have. True. I mean, you could do like onesie. You could do like onesie and the like. Yeah. So what I did, so the way that I have it set up is I was talking to Jason about this, so basically it's like, you have like, just actually reserve a seat basically, or you have like a tacked on seat. So I'm going with the tacked on seat, basically just like add a seat to whatever number we have and just make that the freshman each fall, because like you don't. So we have the number 26. So we just add 27 before 27. Yeah, so if it's a 22, we just tack on a 23rd, that's freshman. Because like the so, and then that would probably account for like.
I have
We hope that degrees. But anyways, no, we're doing that, and so basically I have it written, so we're just like an add-on seat. You get points for it. So you're good. So that's how we have it now, but I'm good. I'm pretty happy with it. And I would like have like the strip pictures where I was like, yes, and then it was like a separate.
Whose birthday is it?
Into like an article.
It's his only one put pizza down, so.
Just got that into a Facebook group chat.
Oh, about the,
Yeah.
can I comment? Like I.
You're-
Oh,
Yeah,
my.
I didn't say anything, but yeah, I will. So you guys will-
so-
wait, what did you guys do? What are you doing before I get in?
Yes.
I would really have. I've seen.
Sierra and I are already speaking, so.
Volunteers.
Yeah.
I've seen looking at a.
The whole Senate on this resolution.
It's a resolution supporting, I guess, the 207 preserve as a. Are you?
I feel like more interested in conventions. But.
That's
See, if if we never see them.
I don't feel like we need to convince.
So I would love to like sort of like help at it.
Yeah.
See, yeah, if we're condemning, you see that.
I know you can.
Yeah, if I were like supporting that and like observing.
Well, I also would.
Or you should.
What did you get, Lisa?
My issue is that. If this is condemning, you see.
I know you can't be on the road.
And also tap on the preserving thing.
Can you do clippings via?
I'm just gonna like.
You like, enough time, that's how you know from.
You're worried about.
Can't be a part of that.
For the minutes?
No.
We already have like half the Senate.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
No. You don't have to do anything.
Okay.
As somebody, as a chair.
I was having donuts for campus for this meeting.
Yeah.
I don't think it is either. No. Actually, I have already read up campus.
Ethan, as the chair of the Senate, how are you feeling that this meeting's always with
And I find that answer getting to test.
I said, as the chair of the Senate.
It's American
Okay.
government.
I know.
I thought I would get out of my political science, but no, it's also required for social work, and I was so upset when I found out.
What class?
Intro to American Gov.
Oh.
I was like, I'm not a political science major anymore, I would have to take that class, and then talk to Alicia, she was like, yeah, so you have to take American Gov, and I was like,
The only class that I was like I hate myself was my econ class.
What? Why?
because I didn't know if I hate economics.
Because
I
not
hate
all you.
math. I hate anything like that. I'm
Some of
freaking
us
social
can't
can't
do
do math.
Economics are my-
We're in social work. We're not designed for math. We're designed for helping.
Why do we
You know how many times I've had to
Does not
use,
make any sense.
you know how many times I've had to use my econ course in my practicum? Zero.
Yeah.
Just a little, not much, just a little.
Math?
You know
Hey.
who did all my econ stuff? Abigail.
You do that? I didn't even
I
provide that
helped
survey.
She helped me.
Collusion.
They wanted it for the students, right?
It was an online class. They were wanting me to cheat.
Senator Glucker, don't forget, economics isn't math, it's applied mathematics.
No, it's math. No.
It's not math.
Fight me. No.
It's theory.
It's not a field of mathematical study, but you use a lot of math in economics. Like a lot of equations, it's a lot of math.
It should be in the
Yeah, I
business.
don't like that. I don't sign up for that.
Why it is not?
I'm not.
I just want to have a purchase.
The whole course went.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Was that a curve?
I don't know.
It went
We
over
have
my
1
head.
minute left.
See, the thing is I'm like, I've basically taken it.
1 minute left, everyone.
Professor Neighbors, Intro to International Relations course. That is effectively Intro to Macroeconomics. It seems terrible.
I feel like you want the remote. Everyone wants the handy dandy.
Get there early.
Intro to International Relations.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Hi, guys.
But also, I don't know.
I mean,
I'm trying to think what that's 30, like, I don't know. Oh, I say,
I'm just getting scared of private, like, I put my tree
Now call this meeting back to order. Business Manager Parsons, please return to your seat. All right. Next up on my agenda is another reminder about the survey for the debt restructure. As of this afternoon, we have like 648 responses, which is really exciting. I'm going to close it on the 13th, so if you haven't filled it out yet, you have until then to do so. And if you don't mind giving your friends on Facebook another reminder to do that. Senator Flanagan?
Pizza in my mouth. How does this compare to like other sort of surveys and polling that we've done in the past? As far as numbers go.
I'm not sure. Vice President Hanley, do you remember how many we got for the legislative survey last year?
I don't know about that one, but I'm pretty sure we got about 480 to 520 for the real college survey. So, yeah, we're doing pretty good, but we'd still like more respondents.
All right, Senator Khan.
The very last field on the survey where you can enter in like your comments only displays is this one bar. And I wrote 5 point different things I thought would be useful. You can paste that in there, it will go in there. Just if you're composing it, you can't read the whole thing. So if anyone wants to elaborate, there's certainly that opportunity to do so.
Yeah, just for everyone's clarification, the whole thing does come in there, and some students have submitted full-on 5-paragraph essays about very specific things they'd like to see changed. I saw a placard over there. You're now.
I'm wondering, are the results of those going to be at least made to our knowledge, not to the public or anything? Just to confirm that with my
Oh, yeah, it's going to be public. Yeah. Senator Nelson?
Do you have a timeline of when the decisions are going to be made about?
Yeah, so it's going to close on the 13th, and then each branch of shared governance is going to spend that week going through their data and organizing it. And then by November 1st, list of priorities has to be sent to Clay Christian. So very soon. Any other questions about the survey? Business Manager Parsons?
Who is Clay Christian?
Clay Christian is the Commissioner of Higher Education. He's in charge of all of this. All right. Next up, I have some committee reports. So unit standards met. There's room for another student on that committee. If anyone would like to serve on that, basically what that committee does is they go over the standards set by different academic departments when granting faculty different levels of tenure. It is admittedly quite dull, but very important work. So I encourage anyone who does like that sort of policy like work to volunteer to do that. Does anyone have any questions about the Unit Standards Committee? Great. Next up on the agenda is a foundation update. So as many of you probably know, the ASUM president was granted in 2017 the position of student liaison to the Board of Trustees for the UM Foundation. So that is me, and as part of my duties at the annual foundation meeting, which was over homecoming on just this Thursday, I gave a presentation to them about some of ASUM's work and priorities. I talked about some of the grants that transportation got, the new childcare facility, the mental health committee, the results of the Real College survey, some progress made by the food pantry, and then at the end, I offered up a couple of suggestions for solutions that range from supporting the food pantry to different education opportunities for students. But the one that I wanted to highlight for all of you today was creating an emergency grant program at UM. This is what I messaged the group chat about. So in general terms, what this is it means that if a student has like a one-time unexpected emergency come up, that could be anything from breaking your glasses to having a family member die and needing to fly home, anything like that, there would be a program for students to apply to get an emergency grant in case when that kind of thing happened, they had $2 in their bank account. A lot of institutions have this, it's very common, but UM does not. And so that is the resolution I'm currently working on writing and would love to have input from all of you on that before I introduce it into new business. Senator Flanagan.
So real quick, first you talked about priorities that you presented to them. Could you just give a bit more like detail as to what you said the priorities for ASUM were?
Yeah, so I talked about things that we had been working on. So I talked about the resolution we passed on mental health. I talked about how we had recently moved in to the new childcare facility. I talked about some of the things the food pantry had been working on. So I gave statistics about how many people they had helped and how many pounds of food they had handed out, and then announced the move to ASUM. And then I gave them some of the results from the Real College survey, which I think should have been sent out to you all last year, but I can send that again if you want. And then after that, I just talked about some potential things that could mitigate some of the issues I brought up with mental health in the Real College survey, and I highlighted counseling and emergency grants and donating to the food pantry.
And then I have a follow-up. During the discussions that you saw with the foundation, was there any talks of investment in fossil fuels?
No, that did not come up.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then I can email that PowerPoint out to you all if you would like to see it. Yes. All right. Cool. Do we have any more questions about the UM Foundation or emergency grants at UM? Great. Next up on the agenda is online public comment, but there was no online public comment this week, so we're going to skip that. I have a couple of things in my other. So as many of you might know, the university has an emergency alert system, like if something bad were to happen on campus, like an active shooter or an earthquake, where they email all the student emails and can text you, but the texts only work if the phone number that you update in CyberBear is your cell phone number and not like your parents' phone number. So a lot of students aren't getting those texts because the phone number that they have in CyberBear is not their cell phone. So I just want to remind you all to update your CyberBear to reflect your cell phone number so that you get the emergency text if something bad were to be happening on campus. Additionally, I'm going to put that out on the Facebook sometime tomorrow or the next day, and I'm going to have our student group coordinator send a reminder to student group leaders to have their student group do that. Senator Wilness.
As ridiculous as it might sound, what's the protocol for students that do not have a cell phone?
Check your student email account.
Okay.
Any other questions about emergency alerts? Cool, and I guess also just remind your friends to update their phone number too so that they're in that system. And then the last thing that I have in my other is that on October 23rd from 11:45 to 1:30, ASUM is going to be sponsoring a Soup Wednesday at the Pain Native American Center. This is an event that they have every other week, and it's just an opportunity for different campus organizations to engage with Native American students. I will be there. I invite all of you to come. There will be free soup. Senator Hahn?
Can you repeat the date again? Sorry.
Yeah, so October 23rd from 11:45 to 1:30
Thank you.
in the Pain Center. Any questions about Soup Wednesday? Awesome. So into President's report.
And so begins the Vice President's report. If the Secretary could pull up the committee roster, I'll let you have a look at that. I'll give it a second to load. Does anyone want to get on my speakers list now for this in advance? Okay. Oh, I think that's last week's, yeah. For the Senate. There you go. So I did make the changes a little bit easier to see on the ASUM committees. It's filled in as clear, so hopefully that's easier to see. And then on the university committee ones, it's yellow. So, or President Belcher.
Vice President Kenny, what made you choose bobcat colors?
Impeach.
That's no response. Any questions on committee assignments or any motions that anyone would like to make? We did have a couple senator resignations this week, so there's more committee openings if you want to scroll through and look through that. Additionally, the big one that just passed was the UN Food Pantry Subcommittee. That was approved by the Housing Board Monday, and I just finished assigning the subcommittee. So, cool. And then if you go to the university committees, Senator Terrell.
May I ask, how many senators have resigned since the beginning of the year, of the school year?
We've had 8 senator resignations since the beginning of school. Cool. Any more discussion? All right, seeing none, I will now entertain a motion to approve committee assignments. Moved by
Second.
Senator Fulton, seconded by Senator Terrell.
Unanimous.
Unanimous consent has been called. Is there any discussion or objection? Discussion or objection? Seeing none, committee assignments have been approved. All right, so the next thing I have on my agenda, I think is gonna be another recurring thing that I'm just gonna keep putting on my report until probably the end of the school year, which is university committees. So just a reminder again, if you're having problems getting into contact with your university committees, please send me a note or send me an email. For those of you that do not have contact with your university committees or haven't done that, I don't know anybody except for Senator Pfeiffer that's come talk to me and Senator Thompson. I know about the situation with the Art Sitting Committee, so just be patient. But if you're not getting correspondence from your university committee, I probably don't know about it. So please shoot me an email or come talk to me. Chances are they might have just forgot to put you on the email chain and I just need to remind them again. But yeah, please come talk to me. I can't emphasize this enough. It's extremely important to be present at university committees. So yeah, any questions on that or any concerns that you have? Cool. Seeing none. For committee reports, I have two. The executive director of the Mansfield Center search has begun reviewing applications and will shortlist on October 18th, which is next week. So we're starting to move along with that search, and hopefully it should be done by the end of the semester. I'll yield the rest of my time to Senator Hahn if he has anything to add. And then the next one, this committee didn't meet this week, but it's going to meet next week. And it's ASCRC next week, Tuesday at 2. They'll be meeting in GB or the Gallagher building in 225. And this, I think, is probably gonna be one of the more exciting agenda items that ASCRC will see all year. And that is the adoption of the innovation certificate. It was extremely controversial last year. So I imagine it's gonna be controversial again. If you have questions about it, or you just kind of want to come and see what it's all about, you can come check it out then. I can also send you kind of the curriculum that they have planned. But yeah, it's a new certificate that the university is going to try to offer, they hope by the end of next year. And it's basically just like a huge emphasis on innovation and interdisciplinary studies. There's a few programs and colleges that have kind of tried to buy in with new courses into the program. And it's going to go to ASRC next Tuesday to get approved. Does anyone have any questions about that or the Mansfield Center search? Cool. So in my other, I have 4 things. So first, Halloween's coming up, and as a tradition every year, ASUM has its annual Halloween meeting where you get to dress up as costumes and you all get new placards for your character. So if you have any idea, please keep it appropriate, but send it to me by October 23rd. That way we have enough time to make placards. If you can send it to me earlier, that would be good too, just so that I have a guaranteed placard for that. Any questions? Senator Terrell.
Is dressing up as members of the executive branch appropriate?
Yeah, that is appropriate. You could dress up as each other and pretend to be each other for the day. Cool. Senator Hahn.
So we get a character name instead of like our real name?
Yes, so let's say you dress up as Captain Jack Sparrow. I would refer to you as Senator Jack Sparrow for the duration.
Captain.
Yeah. Cool. Any more questions on that? President Belcher.
So not last year, but the year before on the Halloween meeting, there was an extremely contentious resolution that led to quite a few tears. And throughout the entire time, the vice president had to call everyone by their costume name. So just like, for example, I went as Kendall Jenner that year. And so every time I was on the speaker's list, there was like very, very serious discussion. The vice president had to say Senator Kendall Jenner and so forth for everyone. So
it's a fun meeting, but hopefully it doesn't divulge into that. This major persons.
If anyone does have any contentious resolutions coming up, bring it to that meeting.
All right, so next to my other, I sent a message in the Facebook group about this. But the university is getting a new early alert system. It's called EAB. They will be coming tomorrow to kind of demo things and to talk with university officials and whatnot. They are inviting a session for students and that's from 11:30 to 12:30 tomorrow, and lunch is provided. If you're interested and you have the time, please send me a note right now. I need to RSVP this like Thursday morning at 8 a.m. So send me a note if you're interested. Currently, only Business Manager Parsons is going to this. So you can also hang out with Business Manager Parsons for lunch. I think it'll be very fun. But any questions on that? Cool. Third is Days. So Devin Carpenter is including us on this. On October 18th from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the UC Ballroom, we get have breakfast with prospective students and their families. It's a great way to kind of like interact with new students and just kind of talk to them about your experience here at the university. If you're interested, send me an email and I'll send your names along with Devin Carpenter. And yeah, any questions about that or the event? Awesome. And then my last other kind of pertains to the committee updates. You kind of saw that we have a lot of vacancies there. If you have any more committee interests that you would like to be on, whether that's ASUM committee-wise or university committee-wise, please send me an email so that I can fill those committees and get you plugged into the issues that you really want to care about and discuss during your time as an ASUM senator. Any discussion there? Any discussion for or questions for me at the end of my VP report? Cool. Seeing none, so ends the Vice President's report.
And so begins the VM report. All right, so we didn't have any financial requests last week, so none of the accounts should have changed except for the fall emergency travel. So one of the groups went on their trip. They decided not to pay for lodging, so we got an additional $550 for travel this fall. So the only one reflected there would be the fall emergency travel. That said, committee reports. I have a few. Sports Union will be meeting this Friday at 4 p.m. in the ASUM conference room. We're going to elect a new president. That'll be exciting stuff. Bring your popcorn. Let's see, what else? Radio board, I sent out an email today. Senator Hurley, did you receive that? Oh, okay. So that'll be convening here soon, and we're going to talk about some updates for next year. An additional committee report, I also just got placed on a subcommittee for the University Budget Committee, which will be looking specifically at academic affairs and shoring up some of their budgets. That's all I have so far, but if anyone's interested in academic affair budgets, you know who to talk to. Birthdays. Oh, actually, was there any discussion? This is going to be really, really quick. Okay. Birthdays, it was Senator Tarala's birthday, and he did request pizza. So the pizza, I guess, was in honor of him, but I wanted to make sure that everybody could get a slice of the pie. Senator Tarala.
My birthday was in July.
Oh, yeah, so that's a good explanation. If your birthday is not reflected in the semester, I give you a fake birthday. So today was Senator Tarala's fake birthday. And I'll be passing around a sheet for new senators to fill out their fake birthday or real birthday and the treat they want for their birthday as well. Any discussion about birthdays? All right, so I have nothing in my other, so that ends the business manager report.
Awesome. And so begins committee reports. Secretary David, could please pull up committee reports. I'll start taking down a speakers list. Just a reminder that this should only be for university committees or asking questions of ASUM committee reports. So far, I've got Flanagan, Durnell, and Kiefer. I've got Fulton. Any other senators want to get on my speakers list? Cool. I'll start with Senator Flanagan.
Yeah, could you move down to the business on, or excuse me, board on member organizations, please? Okay. I move to provisionally recognize and display the following student groups: Beta Alpha Psi, College Democrats, Gerontology Society, Honor Student Association, Switchback Records, and UM Entertainment Management.
Okay, so there's been a motion to approve the following student groups.
Second.
Seconded by Senator Tarallo.
Yes.
Unanimous consent has been called. Discussion has been called by President Belcher. Senator Flanagan, your authorship.
Senator, yeah, so Senator Flanagan, did the UM Entertainment Management student group give any indication of how they were separate from the UM Entertainment Management academic program?
Not that I know of, I'd like to yield my time on I'm gonna yield my time to business manager Parsons on that.
So they didn't make any specific distinction, however, more of what the actually subsidizing academics line is in fiscal policy. So as I read it at the board on members level in the bylaws, this wouldn't be something to hang up on. It'd be more on the spending side of things.
Senator Brunel,
I feel probably 23rd.
could you speak up a little bit, sorry?
Sorry, I'm an entertainment management student. And I believe that group focuses more on like the travel and whatnot that goes on, but not all the people within the classes are part of the student. Which, for example, I'm not.
Oh, are you talking about the student groups being recognized on this?
No, just next.
Okay, we have to vote on this and then I'll call it. Any more discussion on this? Any more discussion? Last call for discussion. All right, seeing none, we'll now proceed to take a placard vote on approving these 6 student groups. All those in favor, please signify by raising your placard. All those opposed? Abstentions. All right, seeing none, those 6 student groups have been approved. Next on my speakers list is Senator Janelle.
Thank you. I met with my mentee today for the first time all semester, and it was really hard to meet all year as we just kept on back and forth to meet times. But she took me to lunch, which was cool because so we talked about, I thought a lot of new stuff in the very productive, and I specifically talked about all the students that came and gave concerns about financial aid. And how the process has been slow, and I gave her some of her stories I've heard, et cetera, and she said that she is going to diligently take that up and make sure that they're getting some pressure to like do something about it. But they discussed how the Senate was concerned about it, wanted to do something, and she thought that that was something that the administration needed to take a stronger hand on instead of the students. So she'll be working with that, and I'll check up with her in another 2 weeks on that. And if anyone has any interest in being a part of that discussion, please let me know. I also talked to her about some of the efforts made by Young Minds for sustainability that we talked about in the first meeting. If anyone has some concerns about that, or yeah, I'd like to talk with you on that.
Senator Kiefer.
Okay, so Sustainable Campus Committee met on Monday, 7th at 1 p.m. We talked about the campus infrastructure survey. We also discussed the combined heat and power plant, which is now getting bids on it. The combined heat and power plant is going to increase efficiency of the energy and heat that we're using on campus. Actually, that's before the tunnel today. But it's pay itself off rapidly, so we're really excited about that. And we want to open up sustainability conversations with the innovation factory, as the innovation factory was built. Sustainability was largely left out of the picture for some reason. So we want to open up conversations with them. Young Catering now has composting bins in PUC. They started in the last week, so they will give us lastly, we want to expand our crowd work and someone lastly specifically wanted some students to back a crowd request for electric leaf blowers. As the leaf blowers are very loud and they were so that would be great to have electric leaf blowers and increase sustainability for the grounds.
There's one question for you, Senator Johnson.
Was there talks about how large the increase in efficiency
It gets really deep in the weeds, and I'm not like super up to date with all of it, but I would talk to Brian Burns. He can definitely tell you all about that.
And Senator Willis has a question for you.
Yeah, so you mentioned the leaf blowers. Was the topic of lawnmowers also brought up? Because those are just as loud and annoying.
Cool. Senator Fulton.
So Jenna agreed this week we have our subcommittee meetings, and as of right now, each subcommittee is focusing on different disciplines to actually look at certain genetic studies. I am with like philosophy and ethics, and that's fun to talk about that for 45 minutes. Currently, all of our classes in my subcommittee were approved to go to the committee. Our main concern was why they all are 300 and above level courses for the Gen Ed, when really Gen Ed courses should be more introductory and that level of courses. And so we're gonna talk about everyone.
Cool. My speakers list is empty. Would anyone else like to give a committee report? Anyone else like to give a committee report? All right, seeing none, so ends committee reports, and now we move into unfinished business. And we will be starting with Senate Bill 14, resolution establishing official board on member organizations recognition criteria. Senator Flanagan and Senator Fulton authored it. Which one would like to go first for their authorship?
I'll go first. So this has been something that can you start?
Yes.
Okay. This is something that the board on member organizations has been talking about doing for a while. It is normal practice for the board to give sort of a list of the criteria that they are using for the year to the Senate. However, we noticed that there isn't necessarily anything in the bylaws talking about that criteria in any way. And we thought that'd be a good idea to formally state those bylaws and put it out there into the bylaws, that we have sort of a nice concrete way of looking at things and recognizing student groups in a way that can't necessarily be construed in any way. Not that it has been done in the past, but why risk it? And I tried to really include some important points in there, such as the student conduct code and the discrimination piece and whatnot, in terms of group inclusivity and activity, leadership and otherwise. And I noticed that the small number citations in there are actually not going to look great in the bylaws. So if somebody wants to move to remove those, very in support of that. I might do it myself. Yeah, I yield the rest of my time to Senator Fulton, excuse me.
So currently, as Senator Flanagan stated, there really was no way for us to interpret what we have our discretion as. And personally, I felt that could give the board too much power, in my opinion, because some years the board could be as strict as they want to be, and others they could just be we don't care. So as long as there's an actual guideline, an actual physical thing that they have to follow, it makes the most sense to actually okay, these are the criteria, then you can interpret the criteria as you see.
Cool. I'll now move into the speakers list. Senator Johnson.
Move to amend item 44, so it reads Chair of Relations and Affairs.
There's been a motion to amend line 44 of the resolution to read Chair of the Relations and Affairs Committee. Is that how you would like it to? Okay. So it's been moved by Senator Johnson. We'll wait for it to get on the screen before we take a second. Okay, is that how you would like it to read, Senator Johnson?
Yes.
Okay. There's been a motion to change it to Chair of Relations and Affairs, seconded by Senator Turallo.
Unanimous.
Unanimous consent has been called. Is there any discussion or objection? Discussion called by Senator Durnell. Senator Johnson, your authorship.
Yeah.
Okay, Senator Durnell. So can you please? Can you please state that in a motion? So I move to.
Yeah, sorry, I moved to make friendly amendment.
Okay, so you cannot make a friendly amendment since you didn't make the amendment. So you have to say I move to amend the amendment.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just amending that to read that Chair of the Relations and Affairs.
Chair of the Relations and Affairs Committee. Okay, we'll wait for that to be on the screen. Would you like to call that friendly, Senator Johnson?
Yes.
Okay. And then Chair of the Relations and Affairs. and then keep backspace. So then backspace after committee. So,
Can't bring Senate up to the same line.
yeah. You want to get on the speakers list for the amendment?
Yes.
Okay, so the amendments for the rule friendly, I've got two more. Okay. There you go. Okay, Senator Flanagan.
Move to amend line 48 to read chair of the board of member organization.
So I'm gonna,
I withdraw.
okay. Would you like to get on the main speakers list? Yeah. Any more discussion on this amendment? All right, seeing none, we'll now proceed to a placard vote on whether on this amendment. All those in favor, please signify by raising your placards. All those opposed? Abstentions? All right, the amendment is adopted. I'll put you at the bottom of the speaker list. Okay, I got Johnson and Nelson. Senator Anderson.
Move to amend line 28 to strike, the text in parentheses.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, so move to amend line 28 to strike the information in parentheses, including the parentheses.
Okay. So there's been a motion to strike the parentheses section in line 28. It's been moved and seconded by Senator Johnson. Unanimous consent has been called. And would you like a semicolon at the end of that now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Unanimous consent has been called. Is there any discussion or objection? Discussion or objection? All right, seeing none, the amendment is adopted. Next on my speakers list, Senator Pfeiffer. Quorum, please.
Move to amend line 5 by adding semicolon after Brian Fulton, as well as lines 23 and 24 to remove the superscripted letters within them.
Okay, so I'm just gonna do the one motion for now. So, for Brian Fulton, ASUM Senator, on line 5. A semicolon after that. Oh, no, so, comma, and then after ASUM Senator, semicolon. Cool, all right, so that's the motion at hand. Is there a second?
Second. Unanimous.
Seconded by Senator Fulton, moved by Senator Pfeiffer, unanimous consent has been called. Is there any discussion or objection? Discussion or objection? All right, seeing none, and I'll allow you a follow-up since I made you break up those motions.
Move to amend lines 23 and 24 to remove the superscripted letters after.
There's been a motion to remove the superscripted letters in lines 23 and 24 by Senator Pfeiffer, seconded by Senator Flanagan. Unanimous consent has been called. Is there any discussion or objection? Discussion or objection? Seeing none, the amendment is adopted. I'll give Secretary David a few moments to put that up on the screen. Cool. All right, back in my speakers list, I have Senator Terrell.
Move to amend line 48 so it reads chair of board on member organizations.
So chair of, would you like chair of the board on member organizations?
Whatever the norm is. So, yeah.
Okay, I'll do chair of the board on member organizations.
Second.
Okay. Let's wait for it to go.
Which line was it?
Line 43. Sure, hold on. Let's just make this go. Chair of the board on member organizations. Actually, I'm going to move you to the bottom speaker.
Okay.
Just make it. Point of information.
There's an S at the end of members. Or at the end, yeah. Should just be member.
Okay. So that's the motion at hand. Is there a second? It's been moved by Senator Terrell, seconded by Senator Anderson.
Unanimous.
Yes, consent has been, is there any discussion or objection? Discussion or objection? All right, seeing none, the amendment is adopted. Senator Terrell, I'll move to the bottom of the speakers list, so Senator Flanagan.
Yield.
Senator Johnson.
Yield.
Senator Nelson.
In line
21 and 22, I move to strike criteria of ASU and board on member organization requirements, M dash, and replace it with following criteria. Oh, God, I don't really have that.
Yeah, if you could pass that to the secretary, please.
Yeah, I also want the M dashes written. Replace it
Let's give the secretary a few moments to put that up on the screen.
Okay, so I want criteria of ASU and board on member organization requirements deleted.
Okay, this right here.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to say the following criteria.
Okay.
And then a colon.
Oh. Should put a W there.
And then a colon.
Right here?
Yeah, and then removing the M dashes.
Semicolon or
A regular colon. And then, yeah, removing those big guys. And then that one too. Yeah, and just replacing with a comma. Documents.
Okay, so the motion to amend the resolution is up on the screen. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Senator Nelson, seconded by Senator Flanagan. Unanimous consent has been called. Is there any discussion or objection? Discussion or objection? All right, seeing none, the amendment has been adopted. Next on my speakers list, Senator Terrell.
I understand it's not on the screen, but can someone clarify why there's a link at the bottom of the copy in front of us?
Point of information, Senator Flanagan.
Yeah, those links at the bottom are links to the student conduct code and the discrimination policy that's being referenced, like other sort of citations, if you will. And
Yeah, okay.
Move to strike those just because they look.
Okay, there's been a motion to strike the hyperlinks.
Well, I guess are they
Okay.
actually in the bill or is that just for us?
So would you like to proceed with this motion?
Yes. Yeah, yes.
Okay, there's been a motion to strike the hyperlinks at the bottom of the resolution. Is there a second? Is there a second? Point of parliamentary inquiry, Senator Pfeiffer.
Did it wrong again? We just scroll down.
We're at the bottom. The hyperlink.
So, yeah.
The document, guys.
Okay. All right. Can you just scroll down to the bottom of the document?
I am at the bottom of the document,
Okay,
guys.
thank you. All right. Seeing no second, the motion to amend the resolution fails. Is there any more discussion on this resolution, Senator or Business Manager Parsons?
Oh yeah, can you scroll up to the top, please? Move to scrap the sponsored by line in line 6.
Okay, there's been a motion to scrap the sponsored by line in line 6 by Business Manager Parsons, seconded by Senator Anderson. Unanimous consent has been called. Is there any discussion or objection? Discussion or objection? All right, seeing none, the amendment is adopted. I'll give Secretary David just a few moments to remove the sponsor line. Any more discussion on this resolution? Senator Flanagan.
Yeah. Question two, I'm not really sure who, is there a reason we're seeing this discrepancy with the hyperlinks on our document but not up on the board?
So I believe since you deleted the references in the actual bylaws that are going to be added, that it removed those references from the document since it's embedded in the footnote.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any more discussion on the resolution? Business Manager Parsons.
Yeah, I just want to thank Senator Flanagan and Senator Fulton for doing this. It's been a long time coming, and I'm glad ASUM is being as transparent as possible.
Cool. Any more discussion on this resolution? Yeah, Senator Flanagan.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody's noticed this or has any concerns about this, but we weren't really sure. Never mind, sorry.
Any more discussion on this resolution? Any more discussion? Last call for discussion on Senate Bill 14. All right, seeing none, we'll now proceed to a roll call vote on Senate Bill 14, resolution establishing official board of member organizations recognition criteria. Secretary David, will you please take the roll call vote?
Senator Flanagan.
Yes.
Senator Fulton.
Yes.
Senator Glukert. Senator Hahn.
Yes.
Senator Hurley.
Yes.
Senator Johnston. Senator Nelson.
Yes.
Senator Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
Senator Powell. Senator Ream.
Yes.
Senator Terrello.
Aye.
Senator Thompson.
Yes.
Senator Wilmus.
Yes.
Senator Agma.
Yes.
Senator Anderson.
Yes.
Senator Brennan. No, she's not here. Senator Borgasani.
Yes.
Business Manager Parsons.
Yep.
President Belcher.
Yes.
20 to 0 to 0.
All right, the resolution passes 20 to 0 to 0. Senator Durnell. What was that? Your vote was skipped? Yes, okay. We'll update that and then I'll say the updated vote time.
Sorry about that. 21.
Okay, so the resolution passes 21 to 0 to 0. Cool. So now we will move into Senate Bill 15, resolution amending the ASUM bylaws to include impeachable offenses. Senator Anderson, would you like your authorship?
Yeah, so I wrote a resolution to move, just the impeachable offenses over from house rules to the bylaws. I wanted to do this for a couple reasons. One, the house laws, or the house rules, state how our meetings are conducted. So I just feel like that was an appropriate place for us to list out what it could be impeached for as an executive officer or senator. The second was that house rules are suspendable. So in random scenario, you could, in theory, suspend the house rules to avoid impeachment, which I didn't want to have happen. So I just wanted to switch them over to bylaws, because you can't suspend them, and it felt like an appropriate place. May I follow?
Yes, you are following.
Move to amend line 38 to strike the word in open court and move the semicolon after conviction.
Okay, so there's been an amendment to strike the word in open court in line 38 of the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Senator Terrell. We'll give that a moment to get up on the screen, and then if anyone wants to call unanimous, they can call unanimous or non-secret. Cool. Senator Anderson, your authorship.
Yeah, okay. So the in open court thing is a little bit of an issue. So not a lot of people are aware about how this works. So not a huge fault to anybody who wrote these a long time ago. But open court means that it's open to the public and it has to be by a judge or a jury that you're convicted. So if you are in juvenile court, for example, because you've done something to a child, that is not an open court. If you committed a felony but you pled out, that's also not a conviction in open court, that's a plea deal. So this creates a loophole that I don't think anyone on this body would want to actually have in our civil offenses. So I just wanted to strike it from that and rather than write a separate resolution. I discussed it with Vice President Hanley and said we just do it in this resolution.
So by my sharing framework, I'm not ruling this amendment against the intent of the resolution, which is how it's being allowed as an amendment. So, Senator Terrell.
Are we voting on the, no, I meant the general speakers list, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll put you there. Any discussion on this amendment? Any discussion? Last call for discussion on this amendment. All right, Senator Terrell.
Yeah, I would just like to say, Senator Anderson is the law student, so I urge you to listen to her knowledge on loopholes and such.
Senator Flanagan.
Yeah, question for Senator Anderson.
Yeah.
So just for clarification, if I'm understanding this right, is this a felony or misdemeanors committed while you're a student, or if it was committed in the past? Is it more of like, is it a current thing, or is it more of a past thing? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure what the original intent was, but I just transferred the language over. I would assume it's while you're a student, but I don't know. I guess if you have the Senate to decide if it also for past offenses. I don't really know.
Thank you. Any more discussion on Senator Fulton? Okay. Any more discussion on this amendment? Last call for discussion on this amendment. All right, seeing none, we'll now proceed to vote on this amendment. All those in favor of adopting this language into the resolution, please signify by raising your placards. All those opposed? Abstentions? All right, the amendment is adopted. Next on my speakers list, I have President Belcher.
I move to amend line 23 to replace the word is with the word are.
Okay, so there's been a motion to change the word is in line 23 to the word are. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Akbal.
Yes.
Unanimous consent has been called. Is there any discussion or objection? Discussion or objection? All right, seeing none, the amendment is adopted into the resolution. Next I have on my speakers list is Senator Flanagan.
Question for the execs, just so that we understand the gravity of this situation. What would happen if a senator suspended House rules come impeachment proceedings? If such a thing were to ever happen?
So it's tricky for me to kind of interpret that situation because it's in House rules, but it's also kind of fleshed out in the Constitution, which means that the Constitution does kind of have some oversight and kind of general direction. But the one difference I'll make with the House rules and the language that's in the Constitution is that the House rules are a little bit more fleshed out. In the Constitution, it just dictates what you can be impeached for and the vote. So it's like if you get convicted of a misdemeanor or felony, 2/3 vote of the Senate plus a 50% or 12% voting turnout of the or the student body, of 50% plus more or plus one, and then for absences, it's a 2/3 removal of the Senate with the prior impeachment proceedings. So I would say that I might be able to move forward. I would have to consult with the legal counsel over that, but yeah. Senator Terrell.
Yeah, I just would like to thank Senator Anderson for bringing this to the light. It's important that procedures and rules such as impeachable offenses not be able to be suspended simply because they're House rules. And I urge you all to vote for this.
Senator Johnson. Senator Fulton.
This is more of a question for Senator Anderson. Currently it says misdemeanor, so like what happens if it's like a very non-misdemeanor, like forgetting to pay parking ticket or something like that?
So it's up to the body. So I can't truly say what I would personally do. But this is just what you can be impeached for. I would hope that whatever Senate is impeaching that person for not paying a parking ticket would realize there's a difference between that and like a partner, family member assault, which is also a misdemeanor. But that's up to the Senate and whatever Senate is using that inquiry.
Do you have a point of information, Senator Terrell?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, just because of the rules, just like the criteria of what you can be impeached for.
Is this a point of information or is this an argument?
No, it's not an argument. It's a point of information. I'm just kind of saying, impeachment is a two-step process, so the body doesn't necessarily have to remove someone based on a misdemeanor, but it's just the rules that are in there.
Senator Johnson.
Just to clarify, I'm not moving these over to the bylaws, it's actually in this, so if anybody has concerns about the missing language in this, I would highly recommend writing another resolution to remove that, or change that language right now.
Senator Pfeiffer.
Move to remove the space after line 8.
Okay. So there's been a motion to remove the space after line 8 between Montana and semicolon. Give me 1 second, and then I'll take a second. So it's seconded by Senator Glucker.
Unanimous.
Unanimous consent has been called. Is there any discussion or objection? Discussion or objection? Seeing none, the amendment is adopted. Currently, my speakers list is empty. Would anyone else like to discuss this resolution? Any more discussion? Last call for discussion on Senate Bill 15. All right, seeing none, we'll now proceed to a roll call vote on the Senate Bill 15 resolution amending the ASUM bylaws to include impeachable offenses. Secretary David, will you please take the roll call vote?
Senator Hahn?
Yes.
Senator Hurley?
Yes.
Senator Johnston?
Yes.
Senator Klondike? Senator Kiefer? Senator Nelson?
Yes.
Senator Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Senator Powell? Senator Ream?
Yes.
Senator Rallo?
Yes.
Senator Thompson?
Yes.
Senator Wilmes?
Yes.
Senator Akmal,
Yes.
Senator Anderson, Senator Borgasani,
Yes.
Senator Durnell,
Yes.
Senator Flanagan,
Yes.
Senator Fulton,
Yes.
Senator Gluckert,
Yes.
Business Manager Parsons,
Yep.
President Belcher.
Yes.
20 to 0 to 1.
All right, the resolution passes 20 to 0 to 1. And that moves us on to the last resolution that we will be seeing tonight, which is Senate Bill 16, resolution regarding expectations for student group leaders. Business Manager Parsons, your authorship.
Yeah, so I just kind of want to lay this one out. So as it stands, the expectations for student group leaders does reside in the board on member bylaws. Currently, the only thing in there is that you have to be a University of Montana student. However, the framework we've been operating under at ASUM, like underneath ourselves, is that to be a student group leader, you have to be an ASUM activity fee paying student. So the first change reflected in this is that they are paying the ASUM activity fee. That's not really fleshed out within the justifications here, so I just wanted to clarify that one. It's something we've been operating on for a while, so I think it's appropriate to finally just codify it because it's been in practice for quite some time. The second part of this was also establishing some sort of expectations for student group leaders. And if you look at the justifications throughout, I kind of supplanted some things from what used to be the House rules for senators, some expectations there regarding felonies. However, I didn't think it was appropriate to include a misdemeanors part because I thought for student group leaders, that wasn't necessarily something that we had to oversee. That said, the reason I didn't want the misdemeanors bit in there is because a lot of students get into the University of Montana, and I didn't want to exclude anybody if they're already a student paying the ASUM activity fee. That said, I will just kind of clarify this as well. This is just a resolution outlining the expectations for student group leaders. There will be another resolution coming forward that I'm going to author with a process, like an appellate process. The report on members would adjudicate. They would do an investigation in which they would figure out whether a student has committed said felony. And then we could forward it on to the ASUM Senate for a discussion and or vote. I'm not sure the specifics of what this resolution looked like yet. But if anyone was concerned that there wasn't a process outlined, it's because there's another resolution coming later.
Cool. And now moving to my general speakers list, Senator Terrell.
Yeah, I really love this bill. I think we should have, we should outline what the kind of requirements and such for student group leaders are. I think we should really be talking about, felonies and misdemeanors, or I'm sorry, felonies, whatnot in relation to that. The one problem I had I brought up in RNA was the comparison of student group leaders to ASUM senators. There's a difference between student group leaders and unelected representatives. So if anyone would just like to jump in and maybe change the language of that line, I'd love to hear it, but otherwise I'd love this bill and I urge the Senate to pass it.
Senator Akmal.
I move to remove the word in open court from line 59, I think.
All right, so there's been a motion in line 59 to strike the words in open court.
Second.
So I got President Belcher seconding that. Unanimous consent has been called. Is there any discussion or objection? Discussion or objection? All right, seeing none, the amendment is adopted. Senator Akmal moved for that motion. Next on my speakers list, I have Senator Wilmes.
I yield.
Senator Johnson.
I move to amend line item 75 so it reads chair of relations and affairs. Chair of the relations and affairs.
Okay. So the amendment is to change line 75 to read chair of the Relations and Affairs Committee. I'll wait. Sorry, I'll just wait a minute for the secretary to get that up on the screen. Go ahead and vote. And then if you could, space line over. Cool. Is there a second?
Second.
Board of Parliamentary Inquiry, Senator Johnston.
Is there an whatever stands between relations and affairs and not spelled out.
Would you like a ampersand there instead of an air? Okay. All right, so it's been moved and seconded. Unanimous consent has been called. Is there any discussion or objection? Okay, we got discussion from Senator Fulton, Senator Johnson, your authorship. Okay, Senator Fulton.
We literally just had the word and written out in the last resolution.
Is there any more discussion on this amendment? Senator Ockel.
I'd like to say that I really don't care if it's an ampersand or an and as long as it's spelled correctly.
Any more discussion? Last call for discussion on this amendment. All right, seeing none, we'll now proceed into a placard vote on whether we would change this to Chair of the Relations and Affairs Committee. All those in favor, please signify by raising your placards. Okay, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All those opposed? Abstentions? All right, the amendment passes 12 to 2 to 6. Yeah, there's no one on the so. Decorum.
Move to amend line item 79 so it reads Chair of Board Member Organizations.
Okay, so there's been a motion to change line 79 to read Chair of the Board on Member Organizations. Member organization or members organization? Okay, member organizations. So we'll give the secretary time to put that up on the screen. And then chair of, yeah, there you go. Cool. Seconded by Senator Flanagan.
Discussion.
Unanimous consent has been called. Discussion has been called. Senator Johnston, your authorship.
Yield.
Yeah. Senator All.
What did we say on the last one? Did we say chair of the board or just or does no one care?
From my, we said chair. That's the one I remember. Senator Flanagan, point of information.
On the last, on my last bill, it was spelled this way, the chair of the board on member organizations.
Okay, cool. Any more discussion on this amendment? Last call for discussion. Seeing none, we'll now proceed to a vote on this amendment. All those in favor of adopting this, please signify by raising your placards. All those opposed? Abstentions? All right, this amendment is adopted. Senator Flanagan.
Could you speak this last?
I've got Senator Nelson. Senator Nelson.
This is my new person. When do you plan to have a resolution outlining the process for this change?
I will be introducing it tonight.
Senator Anderson.
Move to amend line 59 to add misdemeanor between A and felony, a misdemeanor or felony.
Okay, so there's been an amendment.
Right here. Ooh. How do you spell misdemeanor, Anna? Sorry, guys. That is so bad.
Decorum.
Does anyone know how to spell that? Okay.
Misdemeanor or a felony?
Or felony.
All right, I'll allow that amendment. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been seconded by Senator Kiefer. There's been no unanimous. Senator Anderson, your authorship.
Yeah, so while I appreciate the author's intent to leave out a misdemeanor, I would like to remind everyone that partner family member violence is a misdemeanor in this state, as DUIs. They don't become a felony until you have received 3 of them. So PFMAs don't become a felony until you've received 3 of them in the state, and DUIs don't become a felony until you've received 4. There are also a number of misdemeanors that wouldn't, like they don't reach felony limit, especially this is true in tribal court jurisdictions because they can't sentence anybody to up to a year, which is the requirement for a felony. So I would just like to encompass that loophole by adding the a misdemeanor in there. And again, hoping the Senate will know the difference between a potentially violent misdemeanor and something simply not being part of it.
Senator Nelson.
I absolutely understand the intention of this amendment, but until there's a process by which we are removing these student group leaders, I'm uncomfortable including misdemeanors. I think this is an amendment that we should make after, perhaps in conjunction with the process to ensure that we're adequately adjudicating these student group leaders.
Senator Terrell.
Will the author answer the question?
No, yeah.
No, not that author, the author of the amendment.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask people to give questions.
Okay.
Yes.
Are there different classes of misdemeanors that would more specifically encompass your concerns? So we don't have to put all misdemeanors as a whole?
Not that I am aware of. There might be in the different systems, but every state has a different system, and every the states have a different system. Every tribe has a different system. Every federal government has a pretty uniform system, but that's overcomplicating, I think, the intent of the resolution and this line.
Senator Flanagan.
Yeah, bouncing off of something I just said, question for Senator Anderson. If we were to put something along the lines of violent misdemeanor, would that, using your law knowledge, would that be possible at all? Would that make any sense?
Okay, so I'm just gonna say this because someone said my law knowledge. I can't give legal advice because I'm not a lawyer. But I don't think so. So there are a lot of non-violent misdemeanors that could arguably also be put into this category where you wouldn't want a student group leader in their position. So I would just caution again against separating that out into specific categories and specific groupings. I think it should be up to the Senate or the board members or the procedure, when the proceeding in place, whoever, to distinguish whether or not that misdemeanor is like a dangerous one or would impede their ability to lead their student group.
Senator Fulton.
Yo.
President Belcher.
Yo.
Senator Durnell.
My concern also lies in the fact that there isn't a process outlined here, where the felony is almost equivalent of a misdemeanor, it's much kind of more up in the air. That was a good.
Senator Johnson.
I think I'm in support of including misdemeanor. I guess I have a problem with the wording to do with misdemeanor because it says while enrolled at the university. So I read that as you could be a freshman and get a misdemeanor, and then as a senior you could not serve as a student leader. And I guess there is some more clarification on that. I'd be open to it, but as I read it, it's while you're in the university and having a misdemeanor, you could not be a student leader. So I'd love to hear some more discussion about that.
Senator Oswald.
Yeah, my concerns are also with like the lack of process. And I think that the way that I'm reading this is it's removed from your position. So if a student group leader has a position if it's somebody who like ends up leading a student group leader, like say it's like that misdemeanor freshman wants to lead as a senior thing, I think that would be okay because it says removed, so they would like have to be placed first. But the phrasing here isn't like super clear about that. So I kind of want to like hold off on the misdemeanor thing until we do have that process, because I think that process is going to clarify like all of our questions about this. So I kind of want to like hold off on making that call of like adding all of the misdemeanors until that point.
Senator Terrell.
Yeah, I was actually just gonna say a similar thing. I understand the intent of adding misdemeanors in there. So thank you for bringing the different types to the light. But the business manager did say he was gonna bring a resolution establishing a process. So until we have that check in there, I would suggest we hold off on the misdemeanor thing and just, we can always amend this later. When there's a process.
Senator Fulton.
Previous question.
Previous question has been called. There's a second for this. It's a 2/3 vote to end discussion on this amendment. All those in favor of ending discussion on this amendment, please signify by raising your flag. All those opposed? Please raise your placards high. Oh, boy. All right, the vote fails 12-9. Next on my speakers list, I have President Belcher.
Yeah, so I personally am going to be voting this down, but it's not necessarily that I disagree that misdemeanors like partner and family violence should have been included, but my general opinion opinion about the way that we define these offenses that could have anyone removed or impeached from anything is that it should be defined by a violent or sexual crime in general, regardless of whether it's a misdemeanor or a felony. My personal belief is that things that could be felonies that aren't violent shouldn't bar people from being student group leaders.
Senator Anderson.
So while I understand everyone's concern that we don't have a process fleshed out, I would also hesitate then just to pass this as a whole without the process fleshed out. The addition of the word misdemeanor isn't going to change so greatly the intent of the resolution. The intent is still to be able to remove student leaders from their positions, which they are elected to by their student groups. So if the concern is with adding misdemeanor that we don't have a process in place, then I would urge everyone to just table the resolution until we've seen that process and not pass this at all as a whole. May I have a follow-up?
Yeah.
In addition, there are, again, a lot of misdemeanors that wouldn't be considered violent or sexual in nature that still endanger people. So I would just, again, hesitate for the classification. The broad definition of a misdemeanor would give the Senate at that point broad discretion to use their best judgment. And we do have a legal services office that will answer questions if any of those senators in the future had questions about what it entails to that misdemeanor in court.
Senator Flanagan.
Yes.
All right, that is the end of my speakers list for this amendment. Any more discussion on this amendment? Any more discussion? Last call for discussion on this amendment. All right, seeing none, we'll now proceed to a placard vote on whether to add a misdemeanor or in line 59. All those in favor of adding this into the resolution, please signify by raising your placards. All those opposed? Abstentions? Okay, the amendment fails 40-10 to 17. Now we, okay. Let me take down the speakers just real quick. Yeah, Nelson, Darnell, Ockwell, Sproul, Nelson. Okay, Senator Nelson.
I move to table this resolution for 1 week.
Second.
Okay, so there's been a motion to table this resolution for 1 week. It's been moved by Senator Nelson, seconded by Senator Ockwell. Unanimous consent has been called. Is there any discussion or objection? Discussion or objection? Discussion or objection? All right, seeing none, the motion to table this resolution has passed and will be tabled for 1 week. All right, next we'll move into new business, and we have a rather unique procedure that this is the first time that you are all seeing this if you are new senators this year. But we have impeachment proceedings, and what that basically looks like. Actually, could the secretary pull up the impeachment proceedings document here? So impeachment proceedings happen by meeting the impeachment threshold as outlined in the Constitution, the House rules, and now I guess the bylaws. So I will update this document for you all for next meeting. But basically, if you commit a felony, misdemeanor, any of those 5 criteria that's listed out in House Rules Section 3, I put you up for impeachment, and in this instance, it is for absences. If you all read the documents before the meeting, you'll see the process laid out. The first meeting is just a motion and a second if people want to see the impeachment placed on the next meeting. There's no discussion, no authorship, nothing. And then it will be placed on the agenda for the next meeting, and it will be discussed. You can read the document further to see the discussion procedure, as well as the general procedure for not only impeaching, but removing a senator from their Senate seat. And yeah, so I will, point of parliamentary inquiry, Senator Johnson.
Would the absences reset to 0 if there is not a impeachment proceeding?
Let me get back to you on that one. I haven't set up that criteria yet. Okay. Does anyone have any questions on the procedure before I proceed to entertain the motion? Senator Hall.
Out of curiosity, when was the last time a senator was impeached?
I don't know. President Belcher.
Last year.
Yeah. So last year, there was impeachment proceedings that began It only reached first meeting where there were motions that were made, but there was no discussion in the subsequent meeting. Senator Toronto.
Has a senator been removed in the last 2 years from impeachment?
No, and to the best of my knowledge, I'm not sure the last time a senator was removed. Senator Durnell. So being impeached is the Senate's decision to impeach the senator, which means they want to remove, or not necessarily that they want to remove the senator, but it goes to a student vote. So the difference there is that if you impeach someone, it goes to a student body vote as to whether that person should be removed from their Senate seat. If you remove a senator, which there's only one case that you can remove a senator from their Senate seat just for the Senate doing that, is absences. And then that doesn't go to a student vote, the senator gets removed from their position automatically. Senator Ockel.
So this is like a two-part thing. So you said that this impeachment proceedings was due to absences, yes?
Yes.
I have a follow-up. Doesn't that mean that we don't have to go through a student vote as per the House rules?
So if a senator gets impeached but not removed, that's when it would go to a student vote. If they are removed, then we don't have to go through a student vote. So it's outlined in the second meeting procedures. It'll go through the impeachment proceedings. If we impeach, I'll entertain a motion for removal. Then the removal proceedings will begin. Cool. Any more discussion or any more questions for me before I get into this? All right. So tonight, Senator Taylor Powell is up for impeachment. She has 3 1/3 unexcused absences and 2 1/3 excused absences. I will now entertain a motion to impeach Senator Powell. Any motions? Any motions? Last call. All right. Since there's no motions, it will not be placed on unfinished business. I will get back to you all regarding the justification for resetting absences or whatnot. Is there any new business tonight? I'll start taking down the speakers list. Yeah, I got it. Okay, keep your placards up, please. Cool. Senator Glucker.
Resolution regarding student group travel request for funding airfare to Board on Budget and Finance.
Can you repeat that, please? Thank you.
Cool. And then could you give a brief description?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's just a resolution that basically states that during travel allocations, Senate won't fund airfare in order to fund students more fairly.
Cool. Next, Senator Hurley.
One resolution to RNA amending the ASUM personnel policy to reflect gender neutral pronouns.
We'll give the secretary just to get that down.
Can you repeat it, please?
And then I'll have you take your seat and give the description. Cool. And then a brief description.
Okay, so there is 8 instances of dichotomous language used in the pronouns of the personnel policy. So they're now like his, hers, instead of something like they or something gender neutral. I believe to reflect all students in our personnel policy that is necessary.
Next on my speakers list, Business Manager Parsons.
So I have 2 resolutions. The first resolution is regarding student group leaders removal process. And that will go to Board on Members Organization and Relations and Affairs. And this is, I'll give them off, but this is just also, this is why the resolution was tabled tonight. This will have an actual process outlined, and then we can flesh out both of those ideas at once. More succinctly. And my second resolution is a resolution regarding student group resource center equipment rentals. And this will be going to the board on budget and finance. So as of right now, we have like the cotton candy machine, the popcorn machine. Student groups can currently rent it out. We haven't like codified or established anything in which we say what those rental rates are or what the sanctions are for not bringing back the materials. So I just want to put it in somewhere so that student groups are aware of what it is and we're not just blowing out our butts, I guess. Yeah.
Any more new business? Any more new business? Last call for new business. All right, seeing none, we'll now proceed to adjournment. I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So
Moved by Senator Fulton, seconded by Senator Ockenwall. Unanimous consent has been called. Is there any discussion or objection? Discussion or objection? Seeing none, the motion to adjourn passes. And the meeting is adjourned at 8:04. All right. Are you all down for doing comments tonight?
Yeah.
It's pretty early, so. Cool. The one thing I'd ask you all just, I guess it's